The afternoon sun cast long shadows on the bustling city sidewalk. A woman, dressed smartly in a crisp blazer, balanced her shopping bag on one arm while holding her phone to her ear with the other. She was engrossed in conversation, her voice animated as she discussed something urgent. As she stood near a convenience store waiting for the traffic light to change, she noticed a small figure beside her, a homeless boy, barefoot and wearing tattered clothes. He clutched an expensive bottle of juice, the very same one she had purchased just moments ago. For a fleeting second, confusion crossed her face. How could this child afford such an item? She had just bought that same brand of juice, and she knew it wasn't cheap. Brushing off the thought, she concluded her call and instinctively glanced inside her shopping bag. Her stomach dropped. The juice was gone. A quick scan revealed something even more alarming. Her sandwich was missing too. Her heart pounded as realization set in. The boy had stolen from her. She turned sharply, her eyes darting through the crowd until she caught sight of him slipping away, clutching the stolen goods tightly to his chest. Anger bubbled within her. "He's getting away," she muttered under her breath, torn between calling the police and chasing after him herself. Before she could make a decision, her feet took over, and she dashed after the boy. He weaved skillfully through the crowd, dodging pedestrians, but she was determined not to let him escape. Down the street, around a corner, and into a quieter alleyway. Finally, she spotted him. Her pulse raced as she clenched her fists, ready to confront him. "I'm going to crush that little rat," she thought, fury clouding her judgment. But then, she saw something that made her stop in her tracks. The boy wasn't running anymore. He was kneeling beside a younger child, a little girl who couldn't have been older than 4. She sat quietly on the curb, her oversized shirt barely hanging onto her frail shoulders. The boy had opened the sandwich and was carefully breaking it into small pieces, feeding them to her with gentle hands. He then twisted open the bottle of juice and held it to her lips, watching as she took slow, grateful sips. The woman's anger dissipated like smoke in the wind. She had been so quick to judge, so eager to punish. But now she saw the truth. The boy wasn't a thief out of greed. He was just a brother trying to take care of his sister in the only way he knew how. She exhaled and turned away, her feet carrying her in the opposite direction. But as she walked, her heart grew heavier. Her mind replayed the sight of the little girl's sunken cheeks and the boy's desperate attempt to feed her. Minutes later, she found herself standing in front of a clothing store. Without hesitation, she stepped inside. When she returned to the alley, the boy had finished feeding his sister and was now sitting beside her, his arm protectively wrapped around her tiny shoulders. At the sound of her footsteps, he flinched, his eyes wide with fear. "Please don't hurt me," he pleaded, his voice small and trembling. The woman crouched to his level and gently placed a bag in front of them. The boy hesitated, unsure whether it was a trick. "It's okay," she said softly, her expression warm. "Go ahead, open it." Slowly, he reached out and pulled the bag closer. Inside, he found a fresh dress for his sister, a pair of sturdy shoes, and another bag filled with food. More than just a sandwich this time. His lips parted in shock, his eyes darting from the bag to the woman. Tears welled in his eyes as he choked out, Why are you helping us?" The woman smiled, her own eyes glistening. "Because sometimes, we all need a little kindness." The boy nodded, his throat too tight with emotion to respond. He reached for the dress and carefully helped his sister into it, his hands shaking as he fastened the buttons. For the first time in a long while, she smiled. A small, timid thing, but real nonetheless. The woman stood up, brushing invisible dust from her skirt. She had done what she could for now. With one final glance at the 2 children, she turned and walked away, her heart lighter than before. Perhaps she had lost a sandwich and a drink today, but she had gained something far greater. The chance to make a difference, even if just for a moment.